Very interesting story. Rappaccini's daughter. Part 1. A young man named Giovanni Guasconti left his home in Naples many years ago. He went to northern Italy for study. He rented a small room on the palace's top floor, which was dark and old. The building used to belong to a wealthy family a long time ago. The rooms were now rented to students at the University of Padua by an old woman named Signora Elisabetta. Palace in Italy. There was a small window in Giovanni's room. He could see a big garden with lots of plants and flowers from there. One day, he asked Signora Elisabetta, "Does the garden belong to you?" She quickly said, "Oh no, that garden is owned by Giacomo Rappaccini, a famous doctor. Some say that he makes strange medicines from those plants. His daughter Beatrice lives with him in that little brown house in the yard." He liked to sit by his window and look out at the garden a lot. He had never seen such a wide range of plants before. All of them had huge, green leaves and beautiful flowers in every color of the rainbow. A white marble box near the house held Giovanni's favorite plant. It had big purple flowers all over it. One day, Giovanni saw an old man in a black cape walking through the yard from his window. He was tall and skinny. His face was a bad shade of yellow. His dark eyes were very cold. The old man covered his mouth and nose with a mask and wore thick gloves on his hands. He was very careful as he walked through the plants, as if he were near wild animals or dangerous snakes. He took a good look at the flowers, but he didn't touch or smell any of them. The old man stopped. When he got to the plant with the big purple flowers, he took off his mask and yelled, "Beatrice, please help me." "Father, I'm coming." A warm young voice from inside the house asked, "What do you want?" There was a young woman in the yard. Her dark, thick hair curled around her shoulders. Her cheeks were pink, and her black, big eyes stood out. She looked healthy and full of life as she walked through the plants. He thought she was as lovely as the purple flowers in the marble vase. The old man told her something. She gave the flowers that her father had been so careful to avoid a nod as she touched and smelled them. After a few weeks, Giovanni went to see his father's friend Pietro Baglioni. Baglioni taught medicine at the college level. John asked about Dr. Rappaccini during the meeting. "He's a great scientist," Professor Baglioni said. "But he's also a dangerous person." Then Giovanni asked, "Why?" He slowly shook his head. "Because Rappaccini cares more about science than people," he said. "From the plants in his yard, he has made a lot of terrible poisons. He believes that these drugs can heal sickness. He has, in fact, cured some very sick people who everyone thought were going to die. A lot of people have died from Rappaccini's medicine, though I believe he would give up any life, even his own, for one of his trials." "What about his daughter?" Giovanni told me. "I am sure he loves her." The old teacher gave the boy a smile. "So," he said, "you know about Beatrice Rappaccini. A lot of people say she's beautiful, but not many guys in Padua have ever seen her. She stays in her dad's yard all the time." Giovanni left the house of Professor Baglione just as the sun was going down. He bought some fresh flowers at a flower shop on his way home. He sat by the window in his room when he got back. There wasn't much sunshine left. It was quiet in the yard. As the sun went down, Giovanni's favorite plants, purple flowers, looked like they were glowing. In the next second, someone walked out of the little brown house. Beatrice was there. She walked through the plants in the yard. She knelt down to smell a flower or touch a plant's leaves. With each step, Rappaccini's daughter looked more beautiful. She hid her face in the purple plant's flowers when she got there. She told him, "Give me your breath, my sister. Everyday air makes me weak. Please give me one of your lovely flowers." A big flower was gently broken off by Beatrice. A few flower drops fell to the ground as she lifted it to put it in her dark hair. While Beatrice was sitting down, one of the drops hit the head of a small lizard that was sneaking up on her. For a short time, the small animal twisted very badly. After that, it stopped moving. Beatrice didn't look shocked. She let out a sigh and put the flower in her hair. He leaned out of the window to get a better look at her. A pretty butterfly flew over the yard wall at this very moment. It flew around Beatrice's head once, as if it was interested in her. The bug's bright wings stopped moving, and it died as it hit the ground. Beatrice gave a sad, shaky head. She looked up at Giovanni's window all of a sudden. The young man looked at her, she saw. He bought some flowers and threw them to her. His words to her were, "Young lady, were these flowers as a gift from Giovanni Guasconti?" "Thank you," Camellia said. She ran quickly to the house after picking up the flowers from the ground. She paused at the door for a moment to give Giovanni a shy wave. He thought that the way she was holding his flowers was making them turn brown. The young man didn't go near the window that looked out onto Rappaccini's yard for many days. He wished he hadn't talked to Beatrice, because her beauty made him feel weak. He was also a little scared of her. He would never forget how the butterfly and the little snake had died. On his way home from class one day, he ran into Professor Baglioni on the street. "Well, Giovanni," the old man asked, "have you forgotten about me?" He then took a close look at the young man. "What's wrong with you, friend? Since the last time we met, you look different." It was real. He had lost a lot of weight. His eyes looked like they were on fire from having a fever. His face was white. An old man in a long black cape walked down the street as they talked. He moved slowly, like he wasn't feeling well. His eyes were sharp and black, but his face was yellow. It was the man Giovanni saw in the yard. The old man gave Professor Baglioni a cold nod as he walked by. His eyes were drawn very much to Giovanni, though. "Here comes Dr. Rappaccini." When the old man was gone, Professor Baglioni spoke in a whisper. "Has he never seen your face before?" That was all Giovanni could do. "No," he said, "I don't think so." It looked like Professor Baglioni was scared. "I believe he has seen you before. I know that cold look he has. When he looks at an animal he killed for one of his tests. He looks the same way. I'm going to bet my life on it, Giovanni. You are being used as a test subject by Rappaccini." It was Giovanni who moved away from the old man. He told her, "You're kidding." "No, I'm not joking." The teacher grabbed Giovanni's arm. "Watch out, my friend. You're in a lot of trouble." It was Giovanni who took his arm away. "Good night," he said, "I have to go." Giovanni was quick to get to his room, but he was scared and confused. Signora Elisabetta was on the doorstep of his house waiting for him. She knew he liked Beatrice. She told him, "I have good news for you. I know where to find a hidden way into Rappaccini's garden." Giovanni had no idea what he was hearing. He asked, "Where is it? Let me know the way."